Hello and welcome to this edition of the Evening Review. My name is Toiwan Jabela, your host. Let's have a quick look at today's front page of Namibian Sun.
It's all about waking up early with the kids, some hot cocoa with the cinnamon stick, little something extra in that eggnog. Mama's in the kitchen humming a song, oh holy night and jingle bells, her favorite song. If you couldn't tell, that tells a story around the tree. Holidays is all about family. You lean over and giving me a kiss. That's all I want. That's all I want for Christmas.
I, Frankie, pledge to build a band of brothers.
I, Michael, I pledge to define myself by my character.
I, Gesser, pledge to use my strength for good.
My name is Ethan and I pledge to nurture my fields.
I am Aubrey and I pledge to make the world a better place.
My name is Salatiel Shinedima, the Executive Director of Women's Action for Development, and I pledge to mentor the next generation.
Tonight in the studio, we are welcoming back former Mayor of Windhoek Fransina Kahungu, who was, as a matter of fact, our first ever guest on this show when we started it in February this year. Mayor Kahungu, welcome back to your platform.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
Yes. It must be a bit weird when I'm calling you former mayor when you were just a mayor last week. Now you are former mayor. What happened?
Thank you very much. No, just a correction.
Yes.
Until yesterday, 2:30,
Exactly.
I was a mayor.
Yeah.
What happened is, as per the system itself,
Yeah.
after like 5 years,
Yeah.
you elect new council members.
Yes.
But for the mayoral position, it is after 12 months. So what happened yesterday, His Worship Dr. Job Amupanda was elected as a mayor of Windhoek Municipality Council.
And that's a very direct explanation. Thank you very much for that one. Now, your party lost. It lost the majority. Of course, Swapo has the most seats by an individual party still, but as a collective, the opposition has more seats. To what do you attribute? You're a party veteran, you're a council veteran, having been a deputy mayor before and everything. You've been at the council for 5 years. What is it that you guys did wrongly for people to vote you out?
What we did not do well is not informing our supporters to check their voters' card very well, to make sure that even for local authority, which is Windhoek, they will be able to go and vote. What happened is the majority had cards which were not applicable to vote for local authority. Why am I saying so? I'm saying this because we did very well in the regional council elections, and that by itself is an indication that we could have scored the same as at the local authority level.
But do you agree with me, Meme Kahungu, that even in the regional authority, regional council elections, Swapo overall was still behind in the numbers? If you look at, for example, the the Windhoek West constituency where the party won by 3 votes, Emma Muteka only got around 32% of the overall vote. meaning that 68% still belong to the opposition. So that, how do you explain that part?
I do not know, Toivo, if you did the analysis very well.
Yeah.
Overall, voters did not go to cast their votes.
Yeah.
So, and whatever you are saying there, the fact of the matter remains.
Yeah.
Emma Tangi Muteka,
Yeah.
representing Swapo Party, emerged victorious.
Yes.
What also I can say is time is changing. People are thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
And I must mention that a big number of young voters decided to go and vote.
Yes.
And take note, they are having another different idea of
Yeah.
who to vote into power.
Indeed. Now, did Swapo not foresee that attitude by the young people, so that you present yourself as a proper alternative for them to vote? I mean, it's young people, they have different demands, they have a different outlook on things. Has Swapo evolved over the years to sort of accommodate those aspirations?
Thank you. By the way, Swapo saw it coming.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, the Windhoek West, you gave us an example. We put a very young, fairly person there,
Yeah.
Comrade Emma Tangi Muteka. And it's against that background we managed even to win.
Yeah, indeed. Now, in Windhoek itself, the Windhoek City Council, of course, you mentioned about voters not being aware of the, maybe not very literate enough about the way they could vote. Hence the result that came out. But how proud are you of the record of the Swapo councillors, or just the councillors that served over the past 5 years?
Are you now asking the question for me to rate the previous council? And to be specific, Swapo Party councillors?
Yes.
They did their level best.
Yeah.
We thank them, because if it was not for them, we could have not improved the way Swapo gained votes this year. Just compare the votes gained by Swapo Party last year and compare to this year.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thank them for all what they did.
Yeah. But again, speaking of last year's elections, Meme Kahungu, the trend from last year's election were again obvious in the outcome of this particular election. Where the party didn't do very well last year, it also didn't do very well this year. So you can see a clear trend of that. What has been the party doing? I know that you are not speaking entirely on behalf of Swapo, but you are a deputy secretary of the Women's League in the ruling party. So you are a person of authority, and you are a senior member of the party. Why hasn't the party addressed whatever the issues were last November, to make sure that come November 2020, whatever the issues were last year would have been addressed? Because the trend continued exactly the way it was.
I do not know why you don't want to accept if there is any change.
Yeah.
Comparing to how Swapo Party performed in commerce last year, there is a huge difference. And I have to inform you that this year there was an introspective extraordinary Congress, and where Swapo looked at how it performed last year. Against that given background, if you are to compare the number of votes casted in favor of Swapo last year compared to this year, there's a huge improvement. Okay. So Swapo look at this matter, that's why an improvement.
How do you arrest this decline, if I may call it that way? It's not the most polite word to use, but it's also a reality, a reflection of reality, that indeed there's been a decline in the party given the recent outcomes. How do you as a party arrest this decline ahead of the 2024 elections?
May I really appreciate the question and just express my reservation, because I'm not in the capacity to respond to that.
But okay, fine. I again, I understand. But Meme Kahungu, there are things within your space that you can do as a leader of the party in your own capacity. Of course, you have to consult and work together with others, but surely you ought to have an idea what ought to happen between now and 2024 to avoid, to regain the control?
Let me not run away from the responsibility.
Yes.
Election just finished now.
Yeah.
The results just came out. Of course, let me be specific from the Swapo Party Women's Council.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to sit and analyze and see the way forward.
And regarding women also, because as a women's council, one of your responsibilities is to promote empowerment of women. We've seen women still being slightly behind men. Of course, there has to be a natural progression of women to eventually be on par with men, given the current discrepancies. But the new mayors being sworn in, the new deputy mayors being sworn in, they are still predominantly men. As a women's council, what are you doing to sort of address this?
Yes, of course. Response to that question have to be addressed during also the analysis, the introspective, the way we look at the way forward.
Yeah.
But I thank you for the question. I think it's a high time that we aggressively also now promote women to be mayors. I am happy. You are referring maybe to these big cities, Windhoek, Swakopmund, and Walvis Bay, where we have 2 out of 3, 2 men, 1 woman. But across the country, we have also a good number of women who became mayors. But there is a lot to be done by us.
And Swapo's approach, Meme Kahungu, I personally do not agree with it. But of course, these are just my views as an individual, that the process of empowering women in the party is too artificial for me. It's seeing a void, and you say, look, let's put Meme Kahungu there to color in that space and make it look like women are actually also being empowered. Is that the best approach, like the zebra thing that Swapo does? Or is it more important to deal with the fundamental issues and create a conducive environment where women would no longer need to be pushed, but they can actually stand on their own and compete fairly against men?
I do not know if you are really in Namibia. Look, the constitution is very clear.
Yes.
How can you make it artificial?
Yeah.
If Swapo Party went up to the extent of putting that zebra style list in the constitution, can you really fake the system?
But that is exactly my issue.
But also, let's start nicely now.
Yeah.
When I was a mayor, my governor was a female. The chairperson of Commerce Regional Council also was a female. What else do you want Swapo Party to do if it can go up to that level of where you have governor female, the chairperson of region female, and the mayor female, and others also?
No, it's a fair question.
We must be thankful.
Yeah. No. This one is not directly just about Swapo. It's an overall industry observation that women, whether it's in Swapo or outside Swapo, continue to be in the back seat of the empowerment. And what I personally think would be great is for Namibia to be at a level where Toivo and Francina can compete fairly. We have both been empowered by society, the circumstances of our society, to compete on an equal footing, rather than saying, oh, they are both qualified, but because Toivo is a man, let's hold him back and put Francina ahead. That is not the situation.
I really have to correct you.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like some people will think that at NMH, they will just think about maybe Toivo, Ugeto, Jasmine, and they will say many men there. But now when we pass by in the bigger room, we found a lot of women. We have to do an honest thing, and before you say something, do a thorough investigation and research so that you come to the conclusion. You are a man, And you are one of those who still think women are behind, because even if they are in a position, you will not be able to see them because you already told yourself that they are few or they are not able. So please.
I'm speaking for women, but
as I said, as I said,
Yeah.
there is a need to improve, but we have also to be thankful. Thus far, we achieve what we can achieve.
Okay. No, I'm happy that this movement towards eventually having that sort of balance. But let me take you back to the city council, Meme Kahungu. What was going through your mind yesterday when what happened at council yesterday was emerging? First and foremost, you have the opposition in the majority as a collective, of course, and then having people like Dr. Amupanda becoming mayor. He's from the opposition, if you like, also, and having all the Swapo members, the 5 of them, reduced to ordinary members of council. What was going through your mind?
No, nothing was going through in my mind yesterday.
Yeah.
What was going through my mind yesterday, it was just prayers and thinking, yes, we'll work together. I finished already thinking from Friday. And already on Friday, I already heard that the other political parties and associations group themselves so that Dr. Job Amupanda, Shipuru Ampanda will be a mayor. So I had 3 days, 5 days to prepare myself. So it was too late for me to do otherwise or to think negatively, because I have accepted as is. But on an honest basis, I didn't feel that much happy if I have to think about my party as a ruling party. They are on an honest basis.
Yes.
But I was very happy that these children are from Swapo party.
Indeed.
AR is from Swapo party. IPC, the leaders came from Swapo party. The same applies to LPM.
Yes.
I said, how can you forget your parents? Definitely they will not forget their parents. They just went to build their own houses. But they know where they came from and who groomed them.
That's a good one. So is there commitment from Swapo's side? You are still probably the most senior Swapo councillor on the city council now, given the kind of capacities where you have served. Is there commitment from your councillors, your side of the house, to support these opposition councillors and leaders like Dr. Amupanda, who is the mayor now, to succeed? Or are we going to see a situation where Swapo sabotages their progress?
Maybe I have to repeat myself in this way. The majority of the councillors there have been and are members of Swapo Party youth leagues. They served all the levels, many up to central committee. Comrade Amupanda himself served at Swapo Party Youth League. Comrade Swapo himself served at Swapo Party Youth League. Other people like Mr. Hambuda, Honorable Hambuda, he came also from Swapo Party. So it's natural. Their councillors will work together. There is not even a matter of negotiating, because these are brothers and sisters who will meet in council, and at times, and many times, they will even forget that they don't represent various political parties. So, and the good part is that throughout our campaign processes, each one of us was talking about service delivery. So it's just a nice force come together with that goal to deliver services to Windhoek inhabitants.
Indeed. And from a ruling party, as not just necessarily from a ruling party, I just want to talk typically an ordinary council member, how much influence do they have into really shaping this city into what we all want to see as residents of the city?
All right.
Or will you say, look, we are just ordinary members and therefore those that are in positions must take the wheel?
Thank you. I like the question. Let me respond to it based on what I learned today. I just came from the induction processes. His Worship the Mayor said that thing of some councillors being called ordinary councillor, it will come to the end. He said we have to come together and give responsibilities to each other. Not that you are just in a committee, but you will be given even a responsibility of a certain department where you have to be in charge. He said we all councillors must be responsible, and all of them must be able to report to the chairperson of management committee. That by indication, it is showing that each and every councillor is going to be responsible. And I'm very happy because serving as the mayor, I observed whereby you have some honorable councillors who are too comfortable or maybe not too busy. So with that approach, I am sure it will be accompanied by the performance management or by accountability to be said, look, you are too relaxed at your department or at the committee where you are given. I welcome it, and it is time that each and every person must really be a representative of those who send him or her to council.
Indeed. The final question to you, former Mayor Kahungu, is how do you bounce back? Because this will be 5 years, 5 long years, maybe they'll be longer than you've ever experienced. But as a ruling party, ideally, you should be in charge of the nation's capital. And I'm sure there ought to be some dedication now from Swapo side to say, whatever it is that made people vote less for us than others, we now have to rectify that to bounce back. What is the Swapo going to do to bounce back?
Thank you very much. Again, here I will express my reservation because I don't want to bring out all my weapons.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, so I have ideas on what can be done from a personal level, but you cannot risk to say it out because you are still in a competition period.
Yeah, but you can assure the viewers, especially your Swapo supporters that are watching tonight, that indeed there is this appetite to bounce back.
Yes, dearest viewers, we have heard you.
Yeah.
And we are going to do what is requested and expected from us so that we again once more make even you to have too much trust in Swapo Party.
Indeed. Thank you very much for coming again.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having me here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Indeed. That's former Mayor of Windhoek, Francina Kahungu, expressing her views on the events that transpired since the local authority elections held last week, where her party lost control of the city of Windhoek. And of course, she was just sharing with us her feelings about that. Thank you for watching, and good night.
If you are considering Paratus as a business partner, there are 4 main reasons why I would recommend them. Number 1, speed. You will come across many ISPs who promise high speeds, but Paratus is the one that will deliver on those promises. Secondly, consistency. Speed, latency, uptime, and most importantly service are all attributes that Paratus consistently delivers. Thirdly, customer service. No ISP can deliver 100% uptime. So when things do go wrong, you want to be able to contact a central point where knowledgeable staff understand your issues and strive to resolve them, keeping you updated during the repair process. And lastly, a central point of contact with staff. I can build a relationship with certain staff at the NOC or help desk, those that know my environment, which aids the speedy resolution of any issues I may encounter. So when asked what features sold you on Paratus as a business partner, I would say the first would be personal service. In a day and age of auto attendants and call centers, it's comforting to know that I can still call someone directly for assistance. Secondly, reliability and uptime. You cannot put a price on reliability. And lastly, we do care attitude. That is the feeling I get from all Parata staff. The buck does not get passed on to the next department. So in closing, there are two things I would like to add. Number one, don't rush in and make a decision based on price. Make that decision based on people's experiences. Ask around and talk to others who have or have had the product. It does not help to save on a product that does not deliver as promised. Making an educated decision will save you hours of frustration. Lastly, Richard Branson sums up the ethos of the Paratus management. If you look after your staff, they will look after your customer. It's as simple as that.
It's all about waking up early with the kids, some hot cocoa with the cinnamon stick, little something extra in that eggnog. Mama's in the kitchen humming a song, oh holy night, and jingle bells, her favorite song. If you couldn't tell, that tells a story around the tree. Holidays is all about family.